call the meeting to order. It's Monday, January 10th of 2022. This is the Stoughton Plan Commission, and we do have a quorum, so thank you for that. And before we get started, I just want to wish everyone a happy new year. Last year was an unbelievably busy year for the Plan Commission, and it looks like this year is going to at least start out that way. So we're starting to get some proposals submitted to us that you'll see in the upcoming months. Keep in mind, next month, I believe, Rodney, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to have 2 meetings. Is that true?
Correct. We're anticipating a special one on the 7th to deal with the riverfront redevelopment SIP.
And then we would have our regular meeting next month on the 14th. So we're looking at 2 Mondays in a row. But that should get us in a good place as we try to keep things moving. First item of business for tonight is to consider approval of the minutes from December 13th of 2021. And I would entertain a motion to do so.
I actually, if I can interject here for a minute, there is a very minor correction looking at the minutes from the 13th on the council representative report. Everything is good except it lists R17021 as regarding a CUP for Luigi's Pizza, where it should actually be Luca's Pizza.
All right, we'll correct that. Spell check probably caught that one and changed it on us. Anything else? Otherwise, I would entertain the motion as corrected.
Sure. I'll make that.
All right, motion by Robinson. Is there a second?
And I'll
Second.
All right, I think I got Caravello. And any more discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 And any opposed? None opposed. That motion carries. Next item is City Council Representative Report. Alder Caravello, do you have anything for us?
Just at the December 28th council meeting, ordinance 29 of 2021 was approved.
All right, thank you. Any questions on that? Hearing none, we'll go to staff reports. Director Shield.
In your packet is just a quick summary, but I was going to highlight a couple of things that the mayor alluded to today. We're actually starting to hear from the Stonecrest development owners, landowners, about their next phase. That's on the east side of the city near the airport, looking at a conceptual plan for expansion of the Stonecrest area. We're also beginning to hear more about the I'll call it the Tigan Farm, but the acreage at the end of South Page Street. We dealt with the Isham Street expansion, but the balance of that farm, they're looking at a development proposal for that at this point. And we continue to work with the 51 West folks related to their construction plans and coordinating through the TIF process. It's working its way through the council as well.
All right, any questions about staff report? Hearing none. Item number 5 is facade improvements at 143 East Main Street. And you might recall, I think we've looked at this a couple times now. Is there an update, Rodney?
Yeah, Michael's spoken to the applicant. I don't know if we have them on the screen tonight with us, but you know, they're really disappointed in having to waffle back and forth as to whether they should be required to change the color or not. Seem to be some level of support to leave the gray, at least in the roof or the ceiling area. But they're really just trying to figure out what they'd rather not do anything because it has been painted, but they are hopeful that the commission will discuss it a little bit more and see if we can move forward with it. We did anticipate them to be online tonight, but I don't think we see them here.
I went by the site today and looked at the whole front of the building. And personally, I have no problem with the colors that are presented there right now, the way they have it. I think the the coral color is the same as the brick. I mean, it looks like it matches it. To me, it matched it really well. And the dark color at the door entryway, I think it looks sharp. So I'm not having a problem with the colors as the way they have it. And for the life of me, I don't know what the brick bordering each side of that storefront that and the storefront matching in color so well with that. They're not introducing another color with that coral color. It matches really well to that brick. So I don't know why we would insist they change that at all. Maybe someone could help me understand that differently. But I'd like to make a motion that we accept it the way it has been presented in with the dark blue entryway and the coral color in the door and the panels adjacent to the side brick.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Farrell. Any discussion?
I did have a chance to go by that at different times of day as well, and I think that made a bigger difference in like my major concern at first with the darkness of the ceiling portion of the entryway was that it would make the entire entryway look darker. Now, having gone through there or looked at it at several different points during the day in different lighting conditions, I think that is I mean, it's not a point to me any longer. So as they have it in there, I'm all right with that as well.
All right, I thought I heard Commissioner Barman.
Yeah, I guess I'd just like to answer the question about why we were even having this discussion. And it's because the ordinance says that you're supposed to try to keep your color palettes to 3 colors. And even if you give them credit for the salmon color being a match to the brick, and don't include that as a color, you still have the white cream at the top, then you have the gray, and then you have the purple, and then you have the dark blue, which is 4 colors. So they actually exceed the ordinance with the number of colors. Now, it's not extreme. So that's part of the reason why we started having this discussion, besides the fact that there was concern to begin with about the dark blue around the purple, which you guys seem to be much more comfortable with now. So that's the primary issue. I mean, we can give them advice, which we were trying to do on just balance and color coordination, everything else. I still think that having that door painted salmon tends to make the whole design kind of left heavy. But that's not something that we ordinate or that we regulate against from an ordinance perspective. The primary ordinance issue is even if you give the credit for the salmon, you have too many colors. But if we want to relax that, I guess that's what you guys can vote on.
Thank you. Did Alderperson Majewski, did you have anything to add?
Not really. It you know, the issue was 4 colors. I've never had a problem with the entrance.
Okay, and Alder Caravello, did you have anything?
Not particularly, aside
Okay.
from the obvious, the number of colors, but it's if we wiggle on that, or that's acceptable.
All right. So I guess at this point, we'll just go ahead and take the vote then, unless anybody has any parting thoughts. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed?
I'm going to oppose.
One opposed, okay. Respectfully opposed. That motion does carry. Next item, number 6, is a conditional use permit for a group daycare at 1424 US Highway 51 and 138, which is formerly the Pizza Hut building. We do have a need for a public hearing, but before we do that, Director Schill, you want to provide us some background?
Yeah, the group daycare facility would be a conditional use as outlined in the packet, would be conditional in the district. So we've entered the conditional use hearing process. They intend to initially have a fenced in area just north of the building in the parking lot that would create an area for outdoor play area for their children. But really it's an acceptable use based on a condition within the district. So there isn't anything of substance that raises a concern. There seems to be adequate parking. And one of the things that was raised by our utilities, if there's any underground utilities, they would need to have fencing, meet those compliant with the standards, not in easements for those utilities, which once those become identified, we'd confirm that.
All right, any initial questions from commissioners before we open up the public hearing?
One question. Tonight, though, we're just voting on the conditional use, not any kind of site plan issues. I'm assuming that at some point in time, a site plan that would have more details on the playground area would come before us.
I believe, yes, that's true. If there's more, the fenced in area, that a fence can be put in place without the site plan, I believe. But yes, if there's additional site work, it would have to come back through.
Okay. Because I'm assuming that, I mean, personally, I would think a building that size would probably want or be better served by having a little bit larger area for playground. And I think they've got the space for it. So I guess I think to have the building work for this use, if you can fit more playground area, it makes sense to have more playground area.
Rodney, is there a required size for the playground area?
That would be up to licensing, not something that we specify by ordinance. If there's any outdoor recreation space requirement related to their state daycare licensing, that may come into play.
All right, thank you.
I don't recall exactly what I mean, I remember looking into that when my wife had run a daycare, but I can't remember what. There's a certain number of square foot per kid that's in the daycare that has to be available on the site, and I can't remember what that number is offhand, but there is a requirement.
So that would be a state requirement?
Yes.
Okay.
And then
Thank you.
it's different for in-home daycares versus institutional daycares, which I'm assuming they would be going for an institutional license with this one, or a center license would be my guess. Do you know if are they going to keep the asphalt underneath that play area, or is that?
We have not heard. We have not heard. Internally, we discussed they may be using some type of, carpeting or indoor/outdoor carpeting or something. We just haven't had a discussion with them specific about what that may be on the exterior.
Okay, because I thought that like we have green space ordinances based on our businesses. I believe that they may have specific language as far as like actual green grass space within the state licensing statutes. I'm not sure about that, but I do think that is something that's within there. Anyway.
All right.
That actually raises a good question, though. With this change of use, I guess I'd be interested in hearing from staff whether any of our other landscaping point requirements come into play, because there isn't much landscaping at all on this entire site.
Yeah, we certainly don't see this as a redevelopment of the site. If it was, in our minds, I think if it was a redevelopment and they're redoing the parking lot per se, those things would certainly kick in. This is really just a repurposing of the facility as opposed to a redevelopment, at least in my mind.
Any other questions or comments before we open up the public hearing?
Just one, if they did go to landscape, I would think you wouldn't want it anywhere close to Main Street there, because I go there quite frequently because I bowl in the bowling alley right next door, and that little block there gets very busy and nobody goes 25, and there's a lot of curb cuts. So I wouldn't want to put any landscaping where it might potentially block visibility, because it's already going to be. I don't know what it was like when Pizza Hut was actually had people going there, but I know today it can be a very busy place to get in and out of.
Yeah. Anybody else? All right, we'll close the regular meeting, open up for a public hearing. I didn't see anybody signed up to speak, but is there anybody on the call here that would like to speak on this issue? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and reopen for our regular order of business. We would be looking for a recommendation to City Council. Are there any other questions or comments before we entertain a motion? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion. And I believe is there a resolution in the packet here, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anybody willing to make a motion for this resolution?
I will move to approve the conditional use permit for this group daycare.
I'll second that.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 And any opposed? That motion carries. Item number 7 is a site plan review for Stoughton High School Athletic Complex improvements at 600 Lincoln Avenue. You want to provide some background on this one?
Yeah, this is a community interesting program. They're actually going to put turf in the athletic field at the Stoughton High School. They're also doing a new concession building and press box. For us, one of the big improvements we're actually going to see is an updated stormwater management plan to address the improvements there. So I think it's overall, it's a community-wide interesting project. There isn't anything that stands out for us as being problematic in the specific site plan. Again, I'm encouraged by the upgraded stormwater management plan that'll update the facilities for that matter for us.
All right, thank you. Is there anybody on here from the school district? All right, I'm not seeing any. So we'll open it up for questions from commissioners.
Could you run through a little bit of some of the stormwater improvements? Because I know now that the surface is not permeable, because it's not going to be grass, then it's probably going to have more runoff issues. So if you could just detail that for us a little bit.
Yeah, actually, they've submitted their stormwater management plan that's being analyzed right now, but you'll see on the screen on the east end of the field area, off the field, actually a larger basin that's being created for stormwater infiltration and detention. One that is not there now. So that's a major change. So they'll be subject to the countywide standards for rate and infiltration control.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I would just add, having served on the schools facilities committee for a number of years, drainage has always been a challenge up there, even with the grass. And it really made it difficult for them to maintain the grass. So, part of the discussion has always been whether they put in turf or not. They did want to address the stormwater and the runoff issues, and having them submit a plan and then be able to actually raise money in excess of what they need to do the project without any taxpayers' funds is really a big kudos to the school district for being able to do that. So I think that overall, the plan is gonna not only benefit, the students because they'll be able to have additional uses. Right now, they're really limited on the number of events they can have every year because they're trying to protect the grass. So they really limit it to football and a few soccer games. Under the WIAA rules, they haven't been able to host a regional soccer tournament. They've had to have some of their home games moved away because you have to have a dedicated field or turf to do that. It also will allow band students to march on the field, which is really important, for that program, as well as possibly some of the youth football and other sport activities. I know Rodney had at least one son that I think played lacrosse, and they always played down by the baseball diamond. So I think that they're looking at this as an opportunity to, provide more opportunities, for the students as well as the community.
I noticed something in there that mentioned something about ADA compliance. So I'm curious if there were some ADA compliance deficiencies that this will fix, or what? Any info about that?
I think the accessible route to their press box may not have been compliant. And so I think they're making some improvements to the accessible routes to some of their facilities.
All right.
Having
any other-
also served on that same facilities committee that that mayor has, I'm surprised at on the northwest corner of that they didn't take that contour down a little bit. I know that they had always dealt with when kids are on there and they go rolling down the hill like they always do. And they were getting some injuries and that happening in there, that I thought they might have lowered that contour by a little bit, but maybe that's something that they'll look into, but I'm not sure about that. Overall, it looks like a good plan, especially moving the that high jump pit out of the swamp area that they used to have it.
I think you can note on the plan there that I'm showing on the screen right now on that ramp, that accessible route up towards the press box looks like it's being recontoured. Not maybe to address the rolling down the hill in the grass, but certainly the route to the press box looks like they're reworking that probably to gain compliance.
Yeah, and that one I always thought was good, but yeah, they always have to have guards posted on the hill to make sure the kids aren't rolling down it.
All right, any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion for the site plan, which really only has to be approved here. This doesn't go to council. So I would entertain a motion for the resolution.
Make that
I'll make,
motion.
oh, go ahead, Tom. And I'll second it.
Motion by Robinson and a second from Schumacher.
Yep.
All right, last call for questions or comments. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 And any opposed? None opposed, that motion carries. Item number 8 is a site plan review for an outdoor patio area at La Cantina at 620 Nygaard Street. And I believe that Catalina is on here as well. So why don't you run us through this quick, Rodney, and then if she has anything she wants to add, she can do that before we get into the discussion.
Sure. The application tonight is to expand actually create an outdoor dining or seating area for this facility on Nygaard Street. The plan and description is in your packet. The applicant is here to answer questions as well. Certainly something we've been seeing in other facilities trying to capitalize on exterior seating for a more open atmosphere, and this is no exception to that.
Anything you would like to add?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to first say thank you to everybody. I would want to add if there's anything on the plan. I'm not very good drawing plans, but I want to make sure if there's anything else that you want me to add there to be more specific on the plan, or anything that you guys would want to ask me about it.
So I guess my initial question is it gonna go beyond the sidewalk that you have out front there?
No, we want to keep the sidewalk, especially like, during like winter time, it's the only way we can like walk on the parking lot more safer, and even for us as a worker. So we want to keep the sidewalk. So it's going to go only on the grass area where we are planning to fence it around it.
And were you planning on having alcoholic beverages out there?
Yes, we are, and we want to apply as well for the license with you guys as well, with the CDN.
Okay, so you're aware of that process?
Yes, someone sent me already the application from your office, so we're gonna fill that out as well and send it back to you guys.
Perfect, thank you. Any other thing you want to add?
If there is any other change that I would want to do, if we want to do in the future, like an outside bar, would I have to apply for that as well?
Yeah, I think you would have to do that. I know for sure. Kind of the same process as the alcohol license. I'm not sure if it would come to this group as well. I guess I would leave that to Michael or Rodney to answer.
Okay. For now, we're just planning to get everything from inside to outside. So that's just a future plan, but not to plan it to do it right now.
Okay, yeah, I would say when you're in there talking about the outside liquor, that you could at least ask them about the other things, so you know whether or not that would be an option for you.
Okay. I think so. Thank you so much.
Sure, thanks for being here. Any questions or comments from commissioners?
I have a couple questions. One, could you tell us just a little bit more about the style of fence? I know you say that it's going to be about 42 inches in height. Is it going to be more like a wrought iron kind of fence, or what? How do you plan on wrapping the space?
Yeah, we basically, that's what we're trying to do. We haven't had like anything that I can show you a picture how it's gonna be, but we want to make one of those fence where you can it's gonna be visible. So we're thinking about metal, or I don't know if metal, my English is not that very good, so I apologize, but we want to leave it like certain space, kind of like I don't know how to explain it, but it's not gonna be completely, it's gonna be closed, but at the same time it's gonna be, I wish I had a picture at least just to show you an idea. Maybe it's something that I can bring in so I can be more specific.
Yeah, my only concern is when you say metal, that it's not just like a chain link fence.
Oh, no.
Very, very good. I can kind of envision what I think what would look good, and you probably have in mind. So I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think that I probably, once I have like at least how it's gonna look, or once we figure it out, I can bring you guys in like at least an idea or picture of it, but we're planning to like the way you're saying it. Okay. So it can look good, but it's not gonna be like the chain or whatever.
Good.
Yes.
Then another question. It's been a while since I've been inside the building, back where you have the entrance from the building into this outside space. What's it like just on the other side of the door on the inside of the building? That's not your kitchen. Is that more dining space right there?
You mean because once you are in the main entrance, there is on your right, once you entered on your right, there is a dining area, and then on your left, there is also another dining area on the other side.
Yes.
And
So
I
the
do
di-
believe there is also another emergency door, if I'm not mistaken myself, on the other side as well.
so this door here that enters onto the patio, that comes right off of your dining area that's to the right of your front door.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so that's not coming out of the kitchen or anything like that.
No, that's basically from inside. And the reason why we just thought it was a good idea making a patio, because that will be more secure, that nobody's leaving without paying or nothing like that. And at the same time, it's secure, for everybody, because they're gonna enter in a safe way, but it's far away from the kitchen.
Perfect. That's what I was hoping. And then
Yes.
the last thing I would have you do, especially if you're taking this drawing to go get estimates on costs for your fence, is I would double check your dimensions for the left and right side of your fencing, because I don't think the left could be 25 foot and the right be 38. I'm guessing
Yeah.
it's probably closer to 28. So you might want to
Probably
just
I
double
will
check
have
that.
to, sorry that I interrupt. Yeah, probably I will have to check that out. I didn't took the measurements, but I can, just in case if I measure it myself and there is a mistake, I can just rewrite it or send
Yeah.
it back to you guys again. Because I don't know if you can see, but once you put the picture in right now, there is like a little corner area that we cannot just make it like a square. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. No, I see that. And it's not important for my vote tonight, because I'll
Okay.
support this anyway. I just wanted to make sure that if you were getting numbers from a contractor, I'm guessing that even just from the picture, it looks more like 28 instead of 38. And I think,
Yeah.
so you might want to just double check that dimension.
Yes, of course, I will. And I will probably make changes if most likely you're right. Obviously, you know more than me, but I didn't took the measurements, but I'm going to go and double make sure again just to be safe.
Good. That's all my questions.
Thank
Any-
you.
Any questions from any other commissioners?
I was struggling with the orientation. There's residential across the street. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are there any plans for any exterior lighting that might shine into the residential, or any plans for live music or speakers that might cause some problems?
I don't think we're planning to put speakers out there, because our patio is not going to be a closed patio. So most likely it'll be just an open patio. So I don't think we're planning to attach anything like on the walls or nothing, neither just put it outside. Maybe, I don't know, for like special days, maybe for Cinco de Mayo, I doubt it too, just in case. Is there anything that should I ask for permission before, or?
There's some outdoor dining regulations that we'd have to just evaluate with you. So if
Okay.
you do plan to do or look into doing any of that, we'd need to be involved to see if that's allowed.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see that, but also our patio is gonna be like far away from this. I mean, it's kind of good far away from the street, so that's not gonna be an issue for you guys as well, right? Because we're not in, and nobody's in danger to be like close to the streets or nothing like that, right?
Right.
Okay, so for that we're good. It's just I don't think we're not gonna do any music outside. We're not.
Yeah, I don't know if we would be allowed to under ordinance. We'd have to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
One question for Michael. So when they put this fence up, do they have to get a permit for that as well?
Yes.
Okay, so make sure you talk to Michael about the fence permit before you start that. Because
Okay.
we want to make sure that you get it located properly, and so you don't have to do it twice.
Yeah, that's what worried me the most, was the fencing, especially because I don't have anything visual that I can show you guys, and I haven't talked to anybody that's gonna possibly, build it for us. So maybe once I talk to someone who's gonna do it, I'm gonna get more information, and I can also drop down that for you so you guys can see it better.
Yeah, I think that would be required as part of an application process, that you have a drawing and we understand what you're putting up and where it's going, so we can make sure
Okay.
that when it's done, you don't have any issues.
Okay, sounds good. Yes, thank you. And yeah, no music at all, that's for sure.
All right. Any other questions from commissioners?
I did have a couple of
Oh,
questions.
go ahead.
With that surrounding fence, will that fence be complete, unbroken? I mean, will there be any sort of gate at all within that fence? And the reason I ask that is, if you have guests and that out there, and in the hopefully very unlikely event that there's a fire within the building, it would be difficult if they had to go into the building to get out of the building, rather than having to go over a fence.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. Yeah, I think that what I was thinking, and I'm gonna say that to whoever is gonna do it, I want them to build a kind of like an exit, um, that we can just kind of be like, do not use for, and unless it's an emergency, because I was thinking just to, fence it without like a gate or something. But I'm thinking that, like you said, if there's an emergency, and they, not everybody can exit from like the inside of the building, maybe if we use a lock or something, or maybe we can just leave it unlocked and just put it if it's not used unless it's an emergency, we can do that.
Yep,
Yes.
that would be a good consideration.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
And then with concreting over, or putting whatever material you wish to put on the base part of it, taking up the grass space in there, does that have any effect on the amount of green space per that lot? I guess that'd be more of a question for Rodney and Michael.
I don't think it'll exceed the percent allowed there. If we look at the aerial photograph here, this actually has a fairly large triangle in the back part of this that adds to the open. So I think it's got ample green space to meet the minimum percentage of green space required.
Okay, thank you.
We'll confirm it.
Those are the questions I had. Thank you.
All right. Anything from Phil or Tom?
Nope.
Questions
Okay.
are answered.
All right, excellent. So we do have a site plan that we're looking for approval on. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll
Is there-
second.
All right, a motion and a second. Did you catch that, Michael? Because I didn't.
Moved by Barman.
Okay,
And the second by Caravello.
all right, thank you. Sorry about that. I
Got
looked
it.
down to right and then I didn't see whose name I was writing. All right, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 And any opposed? That motion does carry. Thank you. And I noticed that Lisa did join us. Lisa, your item was approved.
Hello, Tim. Thank you for welcoming me.
Yeah, so everything should be good with yours, and it's good to see you.
Oh, just that easy. That's too easy.
Well, we can do it over if you want.
Just give me just a second here to say hi, Tom. I didn't realize you'd be here, but it's nice to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, and nice to meet you, Michael. Put a face with a name. Okay, so
Right.
we're all set for gray where the blue is now, purple door, and we're staying with the brick color.
Yep.
Perfect. You
Okay.
gentlemen have a great evening. Thank
Yep,
you.
too.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.
All right, item number 9 is an ETJ for land division at 2069 Williams Drive in the town of Pleasant Springs.
This particular area is outside of our long-term growth area. It's actually part of the sanitary district around the lake, I believe. But it does create 2 additional building sites along Williams Drive, just south of Skyline Drive. There's an existing home on the corner shown as Lot 1. Lot 2 and 3, I think, will create the two additional home sites at this location.
All right. Any questions from commissioners on this one? All right. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make that
Approve.
motion. Or I'll second it, one of the two.
So Schumacher and Robinson, is that right?
Yes,
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed, that motion carries. Item number 10, awning and signing improvements for 177 West Main Street. And I think this is for Lucas. What do we have here, Rodney?
You'll recall this was approved for use prior to this, but now they've come back and Luke is here with us to talk about the sign. We had mentioned the sign and the canopy that was on the front and the change to that that was anticipated. He's now brought it back and it would be actionable by the Plan Commission to move forward with this.
All right. Anything you want to add, Luke, while you're here? I can't hear you.
you have to unmute, Luke.
There we go.
Yeah, we're gonna take down the old awning and we're gonna replace it with this one with the logo attached to it.
All right. Sounds pretty simple. Any questions or comments from commissioners?
One question would be, what's the material of the awning material that's been go on the old frame?
Now it's fine. It's made of vinyl, but it's more like a denim type material.
Okay. So not like a hard plastic, it's more of a, okay.
No.
And is it possible to have your logo bigger? And it's
Right
not
now,
something that I'm gonna vote against it. I think you might be better served if you had a little bit more readability to the logo on that awning.
Okay, is right now it's 18 by 18. I believe that's 18 inches, about the same size as the face of the awning as well. I wouldn't mind seeing it a little bit bigger myself, so I could talk to Jody if you think that's a good idea, or if you guys would approve it. I mean, I would imagine I could go 20 by 20,
Yeah.
which would be a little bit more visible. And I think I would like that as well too. But like I said, the face of the awning, I think, is only 18 inches, and I don't want to see it, maybe bend around the top.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be my concern.
So I'll just give you, because I don't think there's any code requirements related to it, but I will just give you some advice. Those awning signs, the customer that they're speaking to are the people walking the sidewalk on the other side of the street. And so
Okay.
that's where you want it to be legible from people across the street, because the people driving aren't going to really be able to catch that because it's sideways to them. And the people who are walking on the sidewalk in front of your building are going to be looking more at your front windows than at that face of the awning. I mean, there'll be some traffic and pedestrians in front of your building that'll catch it, but it's largely to speak to people on the other side of the street. And so you want to make sure that if you're standing on the other side of the street, that you can actually get the full effect of your logo. So sometimes it's good just to mock it up and hang something that size, even if it's just a temporary cardboard, and then stand across the street and take a look at it and see what you think. Because even though, like the image that was before this one with Fired Up Nutrition, even though that's not their logo, at least you know what the name of the business is.
Sure.
I'm not saying you necessarily want to go that route, but to have a logo that's so small that no one can really tell what it is doesn't do you service either.
All right, any other comments from commissioners?
Just want to make sure that your awning isn't 88 feet off the ground.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
I believe it's 88 inches.
I can't even reprint that small. All right, anything else? All right, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the awning and signage improvements.
I'll make
Move
the
to
motion.
approve.
Okay, I think I heard Schumacher. Who was the other one?
That'd be me,
All right, second by Majewski.
correct?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
All right,
Aye.
And any opposed? None opposed, that motion carries. People are asking when you're gonna be open. Do you have a date?
I mean, hopefully soon, but we're working on the engineering part of it right now, waiting for, state approval to come through, so. it's
Yeah, they're
kind of
not
a
near,
little
they're
bit
not
of a
nearly
waiting
as efficient
process.
as, they're not as efficient as the city, right?
Yeah, that's right. But we're excited and we're moving forward, so.
Awesome. All right, future agenda items.
Couple that we talked about before, Stonecrest, we're looking at a potential future phase for that. The development on the south end of Page Street, we anticipate that. The Kettle Park West multifamily project that was delayed, that they're still wanting to put together some additional material to bring back to us. So it's in their court, but we'd anticipate that likely in February as well. We mentioned the specific implementation plan or the SIP for the riverfront redevelopment at a special meeting on the 7th of February. And we're also hearing about Kettle Park West, potentially looking at a conceptual plan for the next phase to the west.
All right. I think any future agenda items from commissioners? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Robinson and Schumacher are the combination tonight. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? None opposed. Thank you, and we'll see you in February.
Right.
Night, everybody.
Night.
I.
Night.